भूतैर्महद्भिर्यमः पुरो विभु निर्मायश्येते यदमुषु पुरुषा भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मकः सोऽहं कृष्ण भगवान् वचांसि मे श्रीकृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं कथामृतं सत्कपीबतम् भक्तिवेदान्तमार्गपन्थनं सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्न प्रसन्नम् सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्न प्रसन्नम् Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus and Matajis, welcome to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam study session and glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are on text number 15 of the second canto of the fourth of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are on text number 15 of the second canto of the fourth of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are on text number 15 of the second canto of the fourth of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are on text number 15 of the second canto of the fourth of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are on text number 15. We know Prabhu. The second canto of the fourth of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are on. Hare Krishna.
Just give me a minute, Prabhu. I have reclaimed my post. Just give me a minute. Is
Hare
it
Krishna.
the screen? Yeah, now it's better, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So nothing in life is coincidence. Everything has been arranged by Krishna in a perfect way. And what better example than this morning waking up to this particular verse, because we concluded yesterday's class in the evening reciting this particular verse, and it is a very important verse of this praise of Shukadeva Goswami. So let's look at it again, and devotees can perhaps recite this as well, and try to memorize this verse today. It's not a difficult verse to memorize. And the most important thing, of course, is that connecting with Krishna when we're reciting these verses. And these verses glorifies the 6 processes of devotional service, on how it is so potent that sadhyo means immediately, vidhnoti kalmasham, Krishna destroys all the sins, the dirt of all the sins that we have committed in our past. And therefore, hearing about Krishna is very, very auspicious. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudhirayet nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki om namo bhagavate vasudevaya om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So 2, 4, 15. Yat Kīrtanam Yat Smaranam Yadikshanam Yad Vandanam Yat Shravanam Yadarhanam Lokasya satyo vidnoti kalmasham tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha yad kirtanam yad smaranam yadikshanam yad vandanam yad shravanam yadarhanam lokasya sadyo vidnoti kalmasham tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha. Word to word. Yat, whose, Kīrtanam, glorification, Yat, whose, Smaranam, remembrances, Yat, whose, Ikshanam, audience, Yat, whose, Vandanam, prayers, Yat, whose, Shravanam, hearing about, Yat, whose, Arhanam, worshipping, Lokasya, of all people, Sadhyaha, forthwith, Vidhnoti specifically cleanses kalmasham, effects of sins, tasmai, unto him, subhadra, all auspicious, shravase, one who is heard, namaha, my due obeisances, namaha, again and again. Translation by His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-auspicious Lord Shri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrances, audience, prayers, hearing, and worship can at once cleanse the effects of all sins of the performer. So if we go to the previous verse on the screen, number 14, there we see that very nicely in the translation, it is said that Shukadeva Goswami says, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him who is the associate of the members of the Yadu dynasty and who is always a problem for non-devotees. He is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual worlds, yet he enjoys his own abode in the spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. Niristas samya. So basically, samya means equal status. There's no one equal status with Krishna. And Atishayena, by his greatness, so he's the greatest, and no one is equal to him. Radhasa, by his opulences. Swadhamani, in his own abode, Brahmani in the spiritual sky, Ramsyate, enjoys Namaha. So he is the supreme enjoyer. Yeah, yesterday we had discussed this point of how when this German person wanted to go to India and find out who is the supreme God, he went to various temples. But when he went to Krishna temple, he saw that Krishna is the one holding the flute, and that's all, standing next to Srimati Radharani. So he concluded, if anyone is the Supreme Lord, it is this person, Krishna, because he simply enjoyed. And Samya, no one is in equal status with him. And Atishayena, he excels by his own greatness. So because Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is the supreme enjoyer, and he enjoys in his own spiritual abode, then the implication is that we have to be Su-yogīs, not Ku-yogīs. So in the second line of this verse, it says, Vidura Kasthaya. Vidura Kasthaya means one who is far from mundane wranglers. So Krishna is very far away. Dura means far. So Vidura means extremely far away. Kasthaya means material wranglers. So those who are simply on material plane, they don't want to interact with Krishna. They are Ku-yogī. So he says, Muhu, always Ku-yogina. of the non-devotees. So Ku-yogī means one who refuses to connect with Krishna. And Su-yogī means the devotees who are in favorable mode connecting with Krishna. So how do we connect with Krishna? In verse number 15, it is given how we connect with Krishna. Yat Kīrtanam, by Kīrtanam, glorification. Yat Smaranam, by remembering Krishna, his pastimes, his attributes, his names, his qualities. Yad Ikshanam, by having Ikshanam, audience of Krishna. Yad Vandanam, by offering praise to Krishna. Yad Shravanam, by hearing about Krishna. Yad Arhanam, and by worshipping Krishna. What is the effect when we become Su-yogis? By these processes, Lokasya sadhyo vidhunoti kalmasham. Immediately, sadhya, always, without fail, of everyone, lokasya, vidhunoti kalmasham. Vidhunoti means specifically Krishna cleanses the kalmasham, effects of sins. Therefore, while our lives previously were full of dirt due to past sins, it becomes now fully cleansed. And all this happens how? Due to the impetus by the primary process of devotional service, which is hearing. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami says, Tasmai Subhadra. So, Bhadrā means auspicious. Subhadra means all auspicious or extra auspicious. And Abhadra means inauspicious. So there is Bhadra, auspicious, there is Subhadra, extra auspicious, always auspicious, and there is Abhadra, which means inauspicious. So every morning we recite this verse, Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu, Abhadra. How this Abhadra is destroyed? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, by always giving reception to Srīmad Bhagavatam and the person Srīmad Bhagavatam. Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. So these verses, these instructions are about Bhagavati, personality of Godhead, are Uttama Shloka, best of selected verses. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. And in this way, Krishna cleanses our hearts. And therefore, Shravase means one who is heard, one who hears about him. So, hearing about him is Subhadra, extra auspicious. Why? Because Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu, because it destroys all the ill effects of the age of Kali and all the sins. And therefore, Namo Namaha, obeisances again and again Shukadeva Goswami is offering to the Supreme Lord. Let's look at the purport. Anyone would like to read the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can.
Yes, Mataji.
Purport by Śrīla Prabhupada. The sublime form of religious performances to free oneself from all reactions of sense is suggested herein by the greatest authority, Sri Shukadeva Goswami. Kīrtanam or glorifying the Lord can be performed in very many ways, such as remembering, visiting temples to see the deity, offering prayers in front of the Lord, and hearing recitations of glorification of the Lord as they are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam or in the Bhagavad Gita. Kīrtanam can be performed both by singing the glories of the Lord in accompaniment with melodious music and by recitation of scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you, Mataji. We'll just stop there. So see how wonderful the devotees are. So Srila Prabhupada has, of course, written these purports, translated Srimad Bhagavatam, where we would be without having access to the Srimad Bhagavatam unless Prabhupada did that. And how glorious are those devotees who have taken up to this process of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, reading Srila Prabhupāda's Śrīmad Bhagavatam and drinking the nectar out of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. I cannot help but express my gratitude to my spiritual master, because he personally assimilated Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and not only that, he constantly gave this nectar of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. And this particular verse in person, he taught us. He made us recite again and again until we memorized it. And he gave us clues on how to remember this verse. So 6 processes of devotional service are mentioned here, as we were discussing yesterday. And very nice acronym our Guru Mahārāja came up with, GRAF W. So GRAF, G means glorification, R means remembering, smaranam, A means audience, ikshanam, P means prayers, vandanam, H means hearing, shravanam, and W means worship, arhanam. So just these 6 processes, if we remember, and we try to follow these 6 processes, then the effect is what? Effect is that very quickly Krishna cleanses our hearts. Lokasya sadhyo vidhnoti kalamasham. Interestingly, the word lokasya is mentioned here. It is not that only for one person this will work. No, of all people, everyone who engages in devotional service. That's why this Sangha is very important. Yesterday after the class, Sita Sundari Mataji approached me and she expressed her gratitude. But then she qualified, why she is so grateful is that because in the Sangha of devotees, when we are reciting these verses, singing these verses, and discussing the verses, the nectar and the churning of realizations that comes out cannot come out just by sitting in our own homes and just opening Bhagavatam by our own selves. Of course, self-study is important and it has its value. But when we study with devotees, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and we sing together the glories of Krishna through Śrīmad Bhagavatam in association. Therefore, the word is used Parasparam. Parasparam means with one another. Matchitta madhikata prana bodhayantaha Parasparam. So Prabhupada says, with 2 or more devotees discussing the pastimes of Krishna. And this is how we see the Brajvasis used to do as well. In small groups, it is said the gopis used to gather near the well while they're taking out the water. And while taking out the water from the well, they would discuss about Krishna. They would speak about Krishna. Oh, today Krishna is wearing this. Oh, today Krishna did this. And so on, so forth. And in this way, they always remained absorbed in Krishna. This is the advantage of coming together and doing Śrīmad Bhagavatam together. And of course, honoring prasadam together is one of the integral part of devotional service. Devotees means what? Not that just we come, we hear Bhagavatam and we go. No, we should just sit down for a while with each other and honor prasadam with each other, serve each other. In this way, our bondage as devotees increases, and it's based on the foundation of relationship with Krishna. That is the binding force that keeps us all together and in check. When we hear from each other our realizations, then our appreciation for each other increases. There is no competition in lives of devotees. Why? Because the devotees, when they hear lokasya sadyo vidnoti kalmasham tasmai subhadra shrabase namo namaha. When I hear someone else speak about Krishna, then the appreciation must come out. Oh, how wonderful realization this devotee has. If somehow the other, that appreciation is not there, then we are causing an offense and there is ill effects in our hearts. Therefore, speaking is okay. But when others are talking, Shravase, sitting down and hearing is very, very important. That is the hallmark of a pure devotee, that they are always eager to hear about Krishna. And because they are always eager to hear about Krishna, when they get an opportunity to speak, their speaking is potent because they have heard properly, they have heard attentively. So, yes, we can remember this verse very nicely. Graph W, glorification, remembering, audience, seeing the Lord, having audience of the Lord. P, offering prayers to the Lord. H, hearing about the Lord and his devotees. And W, worshipping the Lord, attending Aarti in the temple. When we see the Pujari offering the various paraphernalia of worship to Shri Radha Krishna, Guru Parampara, and so forth, then guess what? We are getting the same benefit as the Pujari, as if we are doing the Arati ourselves. So in this way, when this appreciation is there of these 6 processes of devotional service, then Krishna from within cleanses our hearts and we become purified from our past sins. Yes, Mataji, please continue the next paragraph.
The devotees need not be disappointed in the physical absence of the Lord, though they may think of not being associated with him. The devotional process of chanting, hearing, remembering, etc., either all or some of them, or even one of them, can give us the desired result of associating with the Lord by discharging the transcendental loving service of the Lord in the above manner. Even the very sound of the holy name of Lord Krishna or Rama can at once surcharge the atmosphere spiritually. We must know definitely that the Lord is present wherever such pure transcendental service is performed, and thus the performer of offenseless Kīrtanam has positive association with the Lord.
Thank you, Manji. So we see that it is said, Harihi sada vaset tatra yatra bhagavata janaha, that the Lord Hari, Krishna, sada vaset tatra, always resides where? Yatra bhagavata janaha, wherever the Bhagavatas, his pure devotees, gayanti bhakti bhavena, sing his glories. Hare Nam eva kevalam. So truly, we can feel the presence of Krishna when we are reciting these verses. Yesterday, when we were reciting all these 12 verses, I had intended to only recite 6 verses. So we were thinking we'll do 6 and then 6 we'll do today. But as we were reciting and everyone was responding by singing the verses as well, the vibration was so nice. The vibration of Śrīmad Bhagavatam was so nice that I could not help but carry on reciting all the verses of Shukdev Goswami. And this is what Śrīmad Bhagavatam says actually. And Prabhupada says here, the physical presence of the Lord may not be before us, but by this process of devotional service, the Lord can be perceived. it is said very nicely, adrashya rupo. Adrashta means invisible to eyes. Adrashta rupo, the form of Krishna is not visible to our eyes. However, vicharasi urusvanaha. Vicharasi means he wanders. Urusvanaha means in the sound vibration of the Vedic hymns. So the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the greatest sound vibration of the Vedic hymns. And when we sing and when we hear these verses of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, then Krishna wanders in the sound vibration of these verses. And therefore, the devotees can go on and on singing these verses, reciting these verses, hearing these verses, even though they have done it previously. These verses never become stale, they are ever fresh. Tadaiva ramyam ruchiram navam navam. Tadaiva ramyam. And this is how devotees can enjoy. Ramyam means enjoy this process of devotional service. Why? Because ruchiram navam navam. Because newer and newer taste, even from the same verse we derived. There is only one mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But this one mantra, we can go on singing again and again. And similarly, these verses as well, we can go on singing again and again, especially in association with the devotees, because the reality is vicharasi paraswanaha, because Krishna basically moves through, dances through, wanders through the sound vibration of these verses, and he penetrates our hearts and he changes our hearts from within. And therefore, Harihi Sada Vaset Tatra. Therefore, Krishna's Vas Vaset, he is situated wherever the glorification of his is going on by pure devotees. Thank you, Mataji. Please continue.
Similarly, remembrance and prayers also can give us the desired result if they are properly done under expert guidance. One should not concord forms of devotional service. One may worship the form of the Lord in a temple, or one may impersonally offer the Lord devotional prayers in a mosque or a church. One is sure to get free from the reactions of sins provided one is very careful about not committing sins willingly in expectation of getting free from the reactions of sins by worshipping in the temple or by offering prayers in the church. This mentality of committing sins willfully on the strength of devotional service is called Nāma-aparādha yasya hi pāpa buddhi, and it is the greatest offense in the discharge of devotional service. Hearing, therefore, is essential in order to keep oneself strictly on guard against such pitfalls of sins. And in order to give special stress to the hearing process, the Goswami invokes all auspicious fortune in this matter. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So in the last part of the paper, Prabhupada is emphasizing on Nāma-aparādha yasya hi pāpa buddhihi, that this will work if one is not bent on being reckless, that on one hand they are doing the chanting, and on the other hand willfully they are committing sinful activities, thinking that they'll counteract it by chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Now this is very condemned. These two things cannot go hand in hand. The name of the Lord, although it is potent, but nonetheless it is alive. It is full of emotions, and it will not reciprocate when this cheating mentality is there. Therefore, devotees, one cannot be complacent. Complacent means that not taking careful or due regard. Devotees cannot be indifferent. Indifferent means that they don't discriminate. This is right, this is wrong. They just freely do whatever they like. Devotees cannot be deliberately sinful. This means that they know what is right and what is wrong, but they still are doing the wrong things. If these three things are there, complacency, indifference, and offenses, deliberate offenses, then Krishna withdraws himself from the power of the holy name. What hope do we have then? In the later verses, Shukadeva Goswami gives a clue on how even the offenses can be counteracted. But we should be much cognizant of this fact that committing sinful activities on the strength of chanting of the holy names must be avoided at all costs. And if we are simply able to follow one rule while chanting, which is attentive chanting, that we carefully hear each and every syllable of the Maha Mantra, we carefully hear each and every syllable of these verses of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, we meditate on the word-to-word meanings, the translation, Prabhupāda's purports. When this attentive chanting is there, then it captures the attraction of Krishna, attention of Krishna. And when attention of Krishna is captured, then Krishna acts to cleanse our heart. And then when our heart is cleansed, then our tendency to commit sinful activities gradually becomes diminished. And even though some proclivity may remain, but in due course of time, the devotee is thoroughly purified by association and mercy of other advanced devotees. Therefore, one of the connecting verses after these verses is the text number 18. Let's quickly touch on that while we are on the topic, and we can discuss a bit. If you can bring text number 18, and Prabhupada quoted this verse many times as well. Kiratahunandra pulinda pulkasha avir shumbha yavana kashadayaha yenye cha papa yatapashrayashraya shudhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Let's look at the translation. Kirata, Huna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Avir, Shumbha, Yavana, members of the Kasa races, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So this is not only taking shelter of the Lord, but it is also taking shelter of the pure devotees of the Lord who have taken shelter of Krishna. So if we look at the word to word, so in the first two lines of this verse, the various kinds of persons who have natural sinful tendencies are mentioned here. Now, these persons are coming from these provinces. When we discuss this verse in detail, we'll go, and Prabhupada in the paper discusses. However, in the second and the third line, Shukadeva Goswami says, yea, even those, means even these people who are very sinful by nature, the Mongolians, the Chinese, the Turks, the Greeks, the Germans, the Russians. I mean, one of the worst kind of things these people do is addicted to eating meat. So even these, cha, also papaha, addicted to sinful acts, yet whose apashraya ashrayaha, having taken shelter of the devotees of the Lord. Yenye cha papa yadapashraya. So all these devotees, we see that when Prabhupada traveled around the globe 12 times in his very mature age, the regions of Kirata, Huna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Avira, the Eastern European countries, the Asian countries, all these countries had association of the pure devotee in form of Srila Prabhupada. And those who listened to Prabhupada, apashraya, shraya, ashrayaha, they took shelter of Srila Prabhupada. And just by taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada, what happened? Shuddhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Shuddhyanti means at once purified. They became purified. Tasmai. Therefore, unto him, what Shukdev Goswami says, Prabha Vishnave. Prabha Vishnave means unto the powerful Vishnu. Because the devotees are in touch with Vishnu, their prabhav, their influence is very powerful. And this causes the purification, even of the persons who are of sinful mentality. So somehow or the other, if we have some sinful tendencies, some addictions that we cannot overcome, then simply by taking shelter of the pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada and his representatives, we get access to Prabha Vishnave, onto the powerful Vishnu. His prabhava, his influence is very, very great. And therefore, that influence overcomes all our sinful tendencies and we become purified. Any questions or comments on this point? No. Okay. Sorry, someone was saying something? No. Okay. Let's go back to text number 15. So, Prabhupada in the last part of the paragraph emphasizes on this point of we have to be careful not to commit sinful activities deliberately and think that on the strength of chanting of the holy names, I will purify myself. That is very, very, verily condemned. And we should strictly guard against such pitfalls of sins. No one can cheat Krishna. If anyone, Krishna will cheat us by withdrawing his potency from the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So sincerity and humility, these two things are hallmark of approaching Krishna. Humility means, oh Krishna, I am very, very sinful. And sincerity means, oh Krishna, I don't want to commit sins anymore. I want to be purified. And the devotee tries his best not to succumb to his sinful tendencies. And how he does that? What does that mean? It means that he associates with devotees who are more advanced than himself. And through that power of the association of pure devotees, Prabha Vishnave, that power acts in overcoming the sinful proclivities of that devotee. Various examples in Shastras are there of Mrigari the hunter through association of Narad Muni. He could give up killing of animals. Various example in form of in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we see Ajamil, even though he was committing sinful activities, but he named his son Narayana because the 4 rishis had come to his house and they blessed him. that you will have a son, and please keep his name Narayana. Even a moments of association with pure devotees can direct the most sinful person to become purified. So before we sing this whole series of verses, are there any questions or comments? Anyone would like to recite all of these verses?
Prabhuji, I can try. I'm not sure how good it would be, but I can try.
Please, Mataji. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll
Yeah.
help.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhu. Shri Shukha Uvacha Nāma-aparādha Purushas. Prabhuji, sorry, meter, can you just give me once?
Nāma-aparādha Purushāya Bhūyase
Sad Udbhavasnana Nirodha Leelaya Grahita Shakti Tritiyaya Dehinam Antarbhavaya Nupalakshavartmane Bhuyo Namasad Vrijnachit Satam Asambhavaya Khila Satvamurtaye Pumsam Puna Paramhamsaya Ashrame Vyavasthitanam Anumragyadu Tashushe Namo Namaste Srishabhaya Sattvatam Vidurakasthaya Mu Ku-yoginam Nirasta Samyati Saye Naradasa Swadhamni Brahmani Ramsyate Namaha Yat Kīrtanam Yat Smaranam Yadikshanam Yad Vandanam Yad Shravanam Yad Arhanam Lokasya Sadyo Vidunoti Kalmasam Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namah Vichakshanaya Charanopasadanam Sadhanat Sangam Vyusodasya Bhayat Antar Atmana Vindanti Brahma Gatim Gata Klamat Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namah Tapasvino Danaparayashasvino Manasvino Mantravidha Sumangala Shemyam na Vindanti Vinayat Aparanam Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namah Kirat Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasa Abhira Sumbhaya Vana Kasadaya Yenya cha papa yadapashraya shraya Shuddhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namah Ya esha atmatmavata mavatam adhisvaras त्रयीमयो धर्ममयास्तपोमया गतव्यलिकेर आज शंकरादिभि वितकर्युलिंगो भगवान प्रसीदतम् श्रियापतिर्यज्ञापति प्रजापतिर्धियम्पतिर्लोकपतिर्धरापति पतिर्गतिश्चन्द्रकावृष्णि सात्वतम् प्रसीदतं मे भगवान् सतीं यद् यद् अङ्ग्र अभिध्याना समाधिदोत्तया धियानुपश्यन्ति हि तत्त्वम् आत्मना वदन्ति चेतत् कवयो यथा रुचं सा मे मुकुन्दो भगवान् प्रसीदतम् प्रचोदितायेन पुरा सरस्वती वीतान्वताजस्य सतीं स्मृतिं हृदि स्वलक्षणा प्रादुर्भूत किलास्यता सा मे ऋषीणां ऋषभा प्रसीदताम् भूतेर्महद्भिरिमपुरो विभुर्निर्मायशेते यद् अंशु पुरुषा भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश आत्मका सोऽलङ्करिष्टा भगवान् वचांसि मे नमस्तस्मै भगवते वासुदेवाय वेदसे पापुर्ज्ञानम् अयं सौम्या यन्मुखाम्बुरुहासवम् हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Do devotees have any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Such a beautiful class. Thank you so much.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So reminder that we'll be continuing these prayers in this evening session starting at 6 p.m. But it'd be nice to have everyone at 4:30 so that we can have good 1.5 hour of Kīrtana, absorbed Kīrtana of Mahamantra, and thereafter participate in the class. Looking forward to see you all and have a wonderful Sunday. Let's try to memorize some verses. These verses, yat kirtanam, yat smaranam, yat ikshanam. It's so nice if we can try to learn it throughout the day, and hopefully by this evening, if you have learned it, you can lead the recitation. Hare Krishna. Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.